And we are back. Tier list. Post week 8 before week 9. I am excited for this. So, the categories are, you might be getting bored of this, of me saying it every time, but this is for all the new people here. There's Super Bowl, the teams I think will at least make the championship game is how the Super Bowl category works, because obviously, only 2 teams can make the Super Bowl. Yeah, there's wild cards, so teams I think will make the playoffs, whatever how far they go. Barely missed, as in teams I think that either just barely missed the playoffs or finished either even or above, because yeah. And then we have just theirs and teams that aren't really competing for the playoffs, but also won't have a top 5 pick, and then that's top 5 pick. So the teams that I think will either pick in the top 5 or their draft pick will be in the top 5. Because, there's a team on here specifically that doesn't have their first round pick, but it is projected to be a top 5 so far. And starting off, we obviously got to start at the lowest, build up the suspension. The top 5 pick, we got the Detroit Lions, Houston Texans, Miami Dolphins, Jacksonville Jaguars, and the New York Giants. 4 of these teams I'm very confident on. Well, I should say 3 really. I feel like Miami could turn into a team, but they're not playing like it right now, so. And I feel like the Giants, I just feel like they could also do something, but I just don't see it right now. So the Lions, they're 0-8. They're basically locked up at this point because I don't see them turning it around at any point. I feel like they might be lucky to get 2 wins at the end of the season. The Texans, this kind of comes down to the Dolphins-Texans game. I feel like if the Texans do win, it will basically guarantee the Dolphins have a top 5 pick. But if the Dolphins win, I feel like there's a chance they don't. The Texans guaranteed to have a top 5 pick in my eyes, though. And the Jaguars also kind of a guarantee. I mean, they play in one of the tougher divisions in terms of their skill compared to the other teams in that division. Like the Titans, they're way better, and the Colts, they're way better. And the Texans, last time they played, they got destroyed. So next we have just their teams that I don't really think will be very competitive, but at the same time won't really have a top 5 pick. A football team. Washington football team, I have them. I have the Jersey Jets. I know they're New York, but they play in Jersey just like the Giants. The Bears. The Eagles. I have to look at this list to kind of see. The Falcons. Nope. Nope. Denver. The Broncos. And the Panthers. So, in case you're wondering why I was kind of bad there, listing teams, it's because I don't have them in order from what do you call it, record, like win-loss. I just have them down, so. And plus also, I'm not doing it based off of record. I'm doing it off of how I see the team in total. So like in my eyes, there are a bunch of teams that are either playing better or worse than their record says. Like for example, the Chargers, in my opinion, they are playing way worse than what their record says. Okay, but the Jets, I mean, they're the Jets. They beat the Bengals and the Titans so far, 2 very good teams in my eyes. Well, at least this season. But they've lost very bad teams. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Bears, in the end, I just feel like they got to play the Vikings and the Packers twice. Well, they only have to play the Packers one more time. And I just don't see them being able to keep up with those two teams. The Panthers, same with that, and the Falcons. The Saints and Buccaneers, they seem well in control at this point. So I just don't. I could see one of them maybe, making a playoff push, but in the end not making it. But I just don't know which team that would be. The football team, the Eagles. I mean, they play in the NFC East and they have a losing record, so that says it all. And the Broncos finally. I just think you're last in that division at the end of the season. You haven't had a quarterback in forever. And by that, I mean like a long-term guy. Who knows what the situation will be with Teddy Bridgewater? Who knows what the situation will be with Drew Lock? I don't know. So, yeah. And you just traded away arguably your best player in Von Miller. But I think that was a smart move. I think you kind of are expecting that you won't be very competitive this year and you're building for the future. I like it. Barely missed. These are teams that I don't see making the playoffs, but I do see being competitive. We got the Chiefs. We got the... Did I pass them? Nope, the 49ers. We got the Seahawks. We got the Colts. Then we had the Vikings. And finally, the Chargers. So, starting off, Kansas City, I just don't see them doing much. I mean, they've been playing so 50-50 lately. And Patrick Mahomes, if he can just learn to take sacks, I feel like they'd be a much better team. But instead, he tries to make these incredible plays. And listen, people say you're the best in the game. You're not playing like it this season. And if you just take a sack, if you think you can make the plays, do it. But just because you have a track record of making them doesn't mean you'll always make it. You've thrown a lot of dumb interceptions because of that. Then we had the 49ers and the Seahawks. I'm just going to talk about them both. They're kind of in the same boat. Ultimately, I think one of you guys will either sneak into the playoffs or just barely miss, but you're playing in a team, in a division where two teams are currently 7-1, and you both have losing records. So I just can't really be sold on you. Next, we have the Vikings. The thing with the Vikings is I feel like they're going to probably be the 8 seed. If there was 8 teams that could make the playoffs, I feel like that's what they'd be, but I feel like they're just going to fall short. Then we have the Colts, and finally the Colts. It's just one of those where you've had such a bad start so far, you're playing better than what your record says, but it's just, that's going to cause you. You already have 5 losses. That was the same amount of losses you had last season for you to get the final wild card spot. So, I just think I feel like you could really have a dominant second half of the season, but just a bit too late, If you lose like 2 games, in my opinion, you're eliminated, and that's gonna suck because there's how many games? You have how many games? There's 8. You have 9 more games to play. And 7-2 is probably one of the better records you can pull off, but because of your bad start, it won't be enough. Next, we have wild card. This is teams that I think will make the playoffs. I have the Patriots, the Browns, the Steelers, the Bengals. I then have the Ravens, the Raiders, the Saints, the Buccaneers, and that's it. So, the reason I have these teams is because Cincinnati, start out with them, even though they lost to the Jets, they're still in the playoffs. They're still playing very well. Even though they did lose to the Jets, they put up 31 points. and didn't play very well, and they put up 31 points. That's pretty impressive. Cleveland, I do feel like they are in a rough situation now, but towards the end of the season, they'll piece it together. And they are going through a tough time with Odell, Speaking of tough times, the Raiders, they're going through an even tougher time. Losing Henry Ruggs, that could be a good or a bad thing. It's good for, what the drama is going on with him now, but I do feel like he was one of the better players on the team, which sucks. I don't know why he would drive drunk over the speed limit and all that. Killed some people. Killed a person, a dog. I don't really want to talk about it, but I was, sorry for the family and friends of the person who passed and the dog who passed. It's really sad, and yeah. I just really don't want to talk about that stuff. Unless if I'm making a whole dedicated video, because that's kind of what I feel like that's the respect they deserve. Not to just put it into a video at a random spot. Yeah. The Ravens, they had a bye week, but they're still the free seed even with that bye week. And they've been playing like they should be, arguably better. And the Buccaneers and Saints, I mean, they're 1A, 1B in that division in my eyes. And they're probably, more than likely, I feel like one of them will finish at least top 2 in the NFC. And then finally, we have the Super Bowl. I have the Cowboys, Rams, Cardinals, Titans, Packers, and wherever they are, Bills. Okay, Bills, I mean, in my eyes, they're the best in the AFC by far. No, I don't feel like any team's going to show competition besides the Ravens, maybe the Titans, maybe the Raiders, but I feel like the Raiders will fall apart. I feel like the Ravens just aren't good enough, and I feel like the Titans may fall apart without Derrick Henry. That's kind of explaining about the Titans as well. We have the Cowboys. The only thing to say about the Cowboys is they are playing amazing right now, and they're basically playoff locked at this point because of looking at their division. The Eagles are the only team who have at least 3 wins besides the Cowboys, so that says it all. The Rams and the Cardinals, they're both 7-1. They're duking out in that division very well. I feel like the Rams are the most complete roster, and I feel like the Cardinals have been playing like the best roster. And then we had the Packers, who have been on a 7-game win streak, even with all the injuries they have, and now going to be missing even more players with Aaron Rodgers and I assume Rasul Douglas due to COVID. It sucks for them, but they've just got to battle through it, and so far they have been. So let me know how you think I did in the comments, what you would personally change. And I hope you guys enjoyed. I did. Once again, please respect, the family and friends of the person who passed. I am sorry about your guys' loss. And, I'll see you next time. Goodbye.